Hello, this is John Hicks, Executive Director of the National Association of State Budget Officers, or NASBO. I am pleased to present for you a brief overview of NASBO's Fall 2017 Fiscal Survey of States. The Fall Survey provides information about the 50 states' general fund, the fund where most state governments' tax revenues are collected and spent. The survey includes actual results from fiscal year 2017, the enacted or adopted budgets for fiscal year 2018, and historical information on state general fund spending and revenues. Let's start with general fund spending and budgets for fiscal 2018. This chart shows the average annual general fund spending growth since 2000. State spending continues to grow at a moderate pace since the Great Recession. In fiscal 2018, state general fund budgets are expected to grow by 2.3%. The median growth rate is just 1.7%, lower than any year since the Great Recession. The new budgets reflect the limitations imposed by sluggish state revenue growth in both 2017 and 2018. This map reflects the 2018 budgeted general fund spending growth for each state. 26 states enacted budgets with a growth rate below 2%. That includes 15 states with spending declines, the darkest blue colors, most since fiscal 2011. Only 11 states budgeted spending increases of 4% or greater, the lightest blue colored states. Some due to good revenue growth, and several that raised revenues mainly to resolve significant budget gaps over the past few years. This slide shows the amount of net spending increases in the budgets for fiscal 2017 and 2018. The red bars reflect fiscal 2018 and the blue bars show the budgets for 2017. In 2018, states approved $12.7 billion in general fund appropriation increases. That is about half the amount of the increases in last year's budgets, the blue bars. The limited new funds were directed mainly to elementary and secondary education, the largest use of state general fund spending. 38 states added funding to K-12 education in 2018, totaling $8.6 billion, about one-third of all additional spending. Medicaid, the second largest use of state general funds, had an additional $2.6 billion in 2018. This amount is understated due to a large shift in Medicaid spending in Ohio from the general fund to other state funds. Very modest increases were budgeted in higher education and corrections. The rest of state government, as shown in the all other category, had a decline in budgeted spending. This slide shows the total amount of 50 state general fund spending since fiscal year 2008. You can see a very gradual increase since 2010. States have budgeted $830 billion in general funds for fiscal 2018. The green bar, aligned with the 2017 year, represents what 2008 spending would be in 2017 if at the pre-recession peak, if it grew at the inflation rate. General fund spending for all 50 states in 2017 is just now at the pre-recession peak in 2008, when adjusted for inflation 9 years later. 27 states spent less in 2017 than they did in 2018 and than they did in 2008 when adjusted for inflation. General fund revenue collections and enacted tax changes in fiscal 2018. As shown earlier with general fund spending, total general fund revenues in 2017 just topped the 50-state pre-recession level of 2008 after adjusting for inflation. General fund revenues grew 1.8% in 2016, 2.3% in 2017, and are expected to grow 4% in 2018 budgets. The 4% is the average of the 50 states. The median growth rate for 2018 is 3.2%. The amount of tax and fee increases from just a few states account for one of the 4% average increase. This chart shows the recent history of how actual general fund revenues stacked up against budgeted projections. The red bars reflect the number of states with revenue shortfalls after the budget was passed. 27 states had revenue shortfalls in 2017, and 25 states had revenue shortfalls in 2016. It is unusual to have back-to-back years with this many revenue shortfalls outside of a recessionary period. Over two-thirds of the states revised their revenue estimates downward mid-year in 2017. All three of the major tax types, personal income, sales, and corporate income, underperformed budget estimates. Deferral of non-wage income was a commonly reported reason for lower estimated personal income taxes in 2017. Nearly half of states with a sales tax reported lower than estimated revenues, an indication of both low inflation and slower growth in the consumption of taxable goods and services. The bars on this chart reflect the number of states that made mid-year budget cuts. The green line reflects the dollar value of those cuts. As you would expect, more states have to make budget cuts during a recession. But last year, fiscal 2017, 22 states reported mid-year budget cuts that totaled $3.5 billion, the most since 2011. In the prior fiscal year, 2016, 19 states had mid-year budget cuts. These are historically high numbers during an economic recovery. Revenue shortfalls were the primary reason. Most of the states making mid-year budget cuts also reported revenue shortfalls. Tax policy was an active area for fiscal 2018, comprising of solutions to several state budget gaps, addressing education mandates, and advancing transportation infrastructure initiatives. This is a summary of the types of tax and fee increases and decreases effective in 2018. 21 states enacted net increases and 13 states enacted decreases for a total net increase of over $9.9 billion. $5.7 billion of that total was for the general fund. Almost $4.5 billion is attributable to Illinois' personal and corporate income tax measures needed to resolve multiple fiscal year deficits. Another $2.9 billion is related to motor fuel tax increases for 7 states, including $2 billion in California. Other notable revenue increases are Kansas' retroactive personal income tax rate increase, Washington State's property tax increase in reaction to their state Supreme Court's decision on education funding, Pennsylvania's corporate income tax increase, and Connecticut's package of various measures as partial solutions to resolving their budget gaps. 10 states established new electric vehicle fees. Now 19 states have enacted electric vehicle fees as part of their future transportation financing plans. State savings accounts, or rainy day funds. All 50 states now have some form of savings or reserve accounts. The final 3 states, Kansas, Arkansas, and Montana, passed rainy day fund laws in the past 2 years. These rainy day funds provide states with one tool to limit disruptions to state services and provide flexibility when revenues fall below budgeted estimates. This chart shows the total dollar balances for states' rainy day funds covering the last 10 years. Despite modest revenue growth, most states are building back their reserves during the current economic recovery. Some states, particularly energy-producing states, have tapped their reserve funds to help address budget shortfalls. During the Great Recession, states drew down on their rainy day funds as one part of a multifaceted approach to managing revenue declines. The blue bars reflect the balances for the 48 states. The red bars exclude Alaska and Texas, 2 states with traditionally high amount of reserves. During the low point of the Great Recession in 2010, total balances dropped to just $3 billion. Since that time, states have built up their balances to $34 billion in 2017, the red bars, and estimate that to grow to $36 billion in 2018. 28 states increased their rainy day fund in fiscal 2017, and 12 states reported declines. 25 states expect to raise their balances in fiscal 2018. Another way to look at states' rainy day funds is shown here. This chart measures the rainy day fund balance as a percentage of general fund spending from fiscal 2000 through budgeted 2018. During recessions, states use their rainy day funds to help deal with low or declining revenues and build them back up during economic recoveries. Since 2011, states have built back up their reserves from 1.9% of general fund spending to 5.1% in 2017, a bit higher than where they were prior to the last two recessions. Here are a few takeaways from the NASBO Fall 2017 Fiscal Survey of States. State general fund spending is set to increase 2.3% under enacted budgets for fiscal 2018, with a median growth rate of 1.7%. 26 states passed budgets with general fund spending growth below 2%, including 15 states with spending declines. General fund revenues grew 2.3% in fiscal 2017, with collections coming in below original budget projections in 27 states. 27 states reported general fund revenue shortfalls, helping drive 22 of those states to make net mid-year budget cuts. General fund revenues are projected to improve in fiscal 2018 with an average growth rate of 4% and a median growth rate of 3.2%. States' enacted tax and fee changes are estimated to result in $9.9 billion in additional state revenues. States continue to strengthen their reserves despite slow revenue growth, with 25 states projecting increases in rainy day fund balances in fiscal 2018. I hope this overview was helpful. For more information, read a summary of the NASBO Fall 2017 Fiscal Survey of States or download the full report both at www.nasbo.org.